cards from Corey in the house. That's the name of the set, by the way. Look at that. Corey. What is it called again? Chaos of... It's Yu-Gi-Oh! You could probably guess this. So, C, definitely Chaos. Origato. Chaos Rising. Chaos of Rights. Oh, it's right here. Chaos Origin. That's pretty close. I told you it was Chaos. All right, let's have a look here. We've got Astrolasma Urania. Who's trying to get into my Urania? Sorry, let's...
Yeah, that's
like the host pan.
Legend.
Level 7 Light, Thunder, Thunder, Plunder. You can only special with the first effect of this card's name once per turn, and you can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can special summon this card from your hand by returning up to 2 monsters you control to the hand. Not a quick effect, okay. If this is special, reveal any number of monsters in your hand with different levels, then target them many face-up cards your opponent controls and negate their effects. I think this is supposed to be like adjacent Blitzkrieg support. If this card on the field is destroyed by card effect set to the grave, you can add this to your hand. Okay. It requires a lot of setup. You know, 2 monsters on the field. They do trigger when you bounce them back, though, I think, right? So that's the whole gimmick. It's decent, but it does need a lot of setup. I don't know if this is going to be that good, to be honest with you. Up to 2, that's true, yeah. Could be okay. I mean, if you just only have to bounce once, I guess that's fine. Like, that's a lot of pops for the special. Dude, if this was a quick effect to reveal in special itself, absolutely busted. That's what the deck would be, would benefit really well from. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves with the whole interactive gameplay stuff. It's supposed to be Blitzkrieg support, but Thunderclap is just better. Thunderclap Monk, I think, is what it's called, right? So you can search like a Thunder monster with Blitzkrieg, and then the Thunderclap, I think it's just like a Solemn Strike Thunder monster, right? That you can summon on your opponent's turn 0. So it's pretty both. It's pretty both. It's pretty good. I was half reading this here. I mean, you can use both. Sounds kind of bricky, honestly. Playing like a bunch of monsters that literally do nothing unless you have setup. Could be. More board breakers are always welcome. The age of the board breaker is now begin. Soon board breaker will be better over hand traps. I wish, dude. I wish, honestly. Hand trap gameplay is starting to get a little tedious. Like, if I see Ash Blossom, Chain Imperm, Chain Veiler, Called By, like, I'm getting really bored of those cards now. You know what would fix that? Rotation. If this card is special, it should have been normal or special, so it has synergy with Monarch. Ayo! No! Fuck Monarch! Monarch is fair if it's the no extra deck version. The one that board wipes 3 times is honestly the unfair one. Wait, they all do that, technically. It's just the no extra deck version also lets you, Wait, hold on. Monarch is fair if it's the no extra deck version. Are you kidding me? The one that says you can't special summon? No, dude, I don't think that's fair. The no extra deck version is just stun Lamau. Monarch is cancel no matter what. You know, without derailing this discussion into Monarchs, like, Monarch is just a deck that you can't make fun, you know? Like, I don't know, like, that's just my take on it, right? Like, Monarch, it's fun to play, but in terms of its gameplay, like, it's not fun gameplay, okay? Because to make Monarch good, you have to abuse Domain or, like, Surging Vanity's Fiend and stuff like that. Not Vanity's Fiend, he's unsearchable. Majesty's Fiend. You can hand loot multiple times with Erebus because it's not once per turn. You can rip the extra deck with Zaborg. Like, it's just not a fun deck to play against. Like, you called Monarch is cancer. The problem is your deck is ass or skill issue. Dude, I love Mastodon meta. Dude, I need to do new cards on this website exclusively forever. The comments are insane. We're talking about Blitzkrieg support from the set Chaos Origin 6 months from now, and these guys are calling each other cancer regarding the Monarch deck. Like, how did we get here? Or maybe the person resorting to floodgates is ass or skill issue. Harpy, Heavy Storm, MST, any spell trap removal, any monster removal. You want a full list of the counters, or will this suffice for now? I hate when people use this argument. Yeah, dude, Mystic Mine has a million cards that beat it. Should we bring Mystic Mine back? Just draw the out. Allow us to introduce ourselves. The Monarchs erupt and March of the Monarch. They're making memes in the comments. You could literally make them. Allow us to introduce. They're legit. No, dude, I'm making it. I'm literally making it right now. Wait, hold on. What did he say? Where is he? Where is he? Okay, sorry. Wait. Swap the color. Uh-huh. Black. Increase size. Any spell trap removal versus domain of the true monarchs. Okay. there you go. Tainted wisdom. That was his name, right? Tainted wisdom. Tainted wisdom. Colon. There you go. Boom. I made it for him. Meme review special. Bang. God, that's so unfunny. That is so unfunny. I'm glad it doesn't activate in hand. Would be wild if it did. Wouldn't it only be crazy as a quick effect? If anything, being an inherent built-in summon makes this better than a standard activated effect. Thunder Dragon Colossus. Lossus. Yeah, that's true. That card's probably going to get banned at some point, right? Nice Thunder Monster that's not able cheat Colossus. It's a really good card to have going second. Nice. Obvious Blitzkrieg support, especially all of the Blitzkrieg at different levels, ease each other, making the activation easier, and Bounce Back makes it reuse Blitzkrieg effects now that the archetype has potential to go toe-to-toe against the meta. Now the archetype has potential. I don't think this card is saving Blitzkrieg, okay? Like, Blitzkrieg seems decent. It doesn't seem like super top tier, but I'm sorry, this is not going to save Blitzkrieg, all right? Let's be real. Ladies and gentlemen, more woman. Konami have made another absolute busted, broken Yu-Gi-Oh card, and of course, it's because of woman. Zenna-no-tsuinagihime. Link 5 Dark Machine. Link 5. Keep that in mind, Link 5. However, 2+ effect monsters. 2+ effect monsters for a Link 5. 0 attack. You can only use one monster in your... You can also use one monster in your hand as material to link summon this card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. So completely ignoring the card effect, the summoning condition of this card is it just needs 2 monsters. You can use any monster in your hand plus a Link 4. You can use a Link 2 on the field and a Link 3 in your hand for... Never mind. Ignore that last sentence. So the idea is that you can basically use like a Tatsunoko style synchro summon thing, but with your hand. It's literally just like code generator or whatever. So any Link 4 on the field and a guy in your hand. Sorry, I just, you know, as part of my old Konami contract, I just leaked Master Rule 7. For legal reasons, that's a joke. If this card is Link summoned, you can send one monster from your deck to the graveyard. If you Link summon this card using only monsters on your field as material, you can send a monster from the extra deck to the graveyard. Now, I don't have to tell you how absolutely ludicrous and broken generic extra deck foolish burials are. Okay? You guys know that meme I just did? We're going back. We're going back. We're doing more, okay? All right, are you ready? All right, let's begin. Okay, so we've got Curious, the Lightsworn Dominion. Okay? All right. How do you resize? Image, adjustments. There's a keybind for it. It's like, there we go. All right, Curious, the Lightsworn Dominion. Okay? And then you've got Lavoval Chain.
Brazil.
Please
All right.
don't say it.
Name some more. I know there's more out there. We've got Lavoval Chain. We've got, of course, Dante's wifey. We've got Beat Rice. All right. Is there any more? I feel like there's more like good ones. But these are like the have been the best ones, right? Foolish Burial, that's my favorite extra deck monster. Anyway. Generic extra deck monsters that send generic cards from deck to graveyard are problematic game design. Really problematic. They're all banned for a reason. Okay? So, Listen, is this going to be game-breaking? Is this going to, like, destroy Yu-Gi-Oh? No, but understand that there are decks that can absolutely very easily facilitate this as part of their combos. Okay? Link 5 is a heavy cost. Don't get me wrong. But there is plenty of combo spam bullshit to be able to access this completely generic extra deck monster. Link 5, 2+ effect monsters, and you can use a guy in your hand. A Link 3 in your hand as well, if you follow Farfa's Master Rule 7, to do a Foolish Burial. Okay? It is just win more. That is literally not the definition of win more. That is not what win more means. You do not know what that term means. You are just using card game buzzword terminology, typing it into a Twitch and thinking it means something. That is not what win more means. Okay? So anyway, this has unbelievable potential to be game-breaking. If someone will bridge this in some sort of future combo deck to be able to access some sort of niche engine or niche floodgate, usually is what these are used for, and then you bring it back with some other card, like that is absolutely something you can do. Generic Foolish Burial of any floodgate Yu-Gi-Oh monster and then bring it back. Combo enablers, etc., etc. There is so much potential with this card. It is a generic extra deck Foolish monster. Like, that is unbelievably terrible game design. We need to stop doing that. Why is it machine? Is that relevant? I'm not sure. I mean, is that relevant? I don't know. Brother, it's a Link 5. Oh, yeah, because modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks really struggle to put monsters on the board. Dark Machine, Orcust. And I mean, you could technically play this as just straight up Orcust engine in Orcust. I don't think that's going to make the deck good, but it's an option. We haven't even read the second effect, by the way. And you know what's really funny? You know, like the easy to access summon where you send a monster from your deck to the grave? If you link summon this card using only monsters on the field, you can send a monster from the extra deck to the grave instead. It's funny because, like, giving it a more lax summon by letting it use your hand arguably should be the more powerful effect. It should be the weaker effect, right? In probably most cases, binning from extra deck is not going to be as good as binning from the main deck. Obviously, it depends on the deck, it depends on the combo, it depends on a lot of things, but generally, I'd say Foolishing from the extra is weaker than the main deck. If this card on your field is sent to the grave during your next standby, you can add a monster from your grave to your hand. If this card on your field is sent to the grave during your next standby, you can add a monster from your grave to your hand. You know, for a second, I was like, you could send Max C and then add it back, but it's your next standby phase. Sometimes these cards get a little bit mistranslated. If anyone remembers, I think it was specifically Altergeist had an issue with translation, and it said... No, Zeroboros. It was Zeroboros. Topologic's Zeroboros was a Link 4 monster that said, return this card during the standby phase. So it would come back during the next standby, so your opponent's. But I think it was mistranslated in TCG, so it only came back on your standby phase. So that maybe, I don't know, this could be something to keep an eye on, potentially. Because if it's the standby phase, you can just literally just bin a hand trap and add it to your hand. Like, you literally just search Max E with this. But that's, you know, unlikely, but it could be a thing to keep an eye on. So yeah, I think this card is ridiculous. I think if you find the right line and deck for this, it's absolutely busted. And, like, people will complain about the design behind this card. Holy shit, this card's actually absurd. 10 out of 10 will get banned one day. Can't wait to play with this in tiers. It makes any 4 materials for combo. Tier players will play anything to access their starters except an actual starter. What do you mean? It's because they're banned! What is this guy talking about? Yeah, dude, where's Merly? How many Rhino Heart does OCG have? What do you mean except, like, you want tier limit players to cheat? What exactly are you sending for a full combo? You need an Aqua already to fuse or a tier card in hand to send Rhino. Tier is, like, not the best example, by the way. Fenrir, Galaxy Tomahawk, make Link 5 waifu, dump Herald from extra deck, 10,000 more years of Habibi. No one asked for this, man. Don't do that. Wait, did someone correct him? Tomahawk summons tokens which are normal monsters. There are Link monsters that can use normal monster tokens like Firewall. It requires effect monsters anyway unless you play 4 or 5 Link spiders. Yo, worth it to search Habakiri. Sundere, yandere, kudere, dandere, deredare, all in one card. I don't know what that means. I'm too, you know, offline for that. Special summon, send herald, search habakiri, full Mitsu combo. Is this the only thing these people can think about? I swear, you guys read a new card. Literally, a new card gets posted on Macedo Meta and you're just like, but how will this affect habakiri? But how does this affect the reptiles? Literally at any opportunity. Alright, what the fuck? This is busted. All I can read is effect 1, foolish any monster you want. Extra deck monsters 2 if you want to do it with extra stacks. Effect 2, recover any hand trap you want just for linking this off. Curious is a much better option in most cases. Maybe some decks that can spam the shit out of bodies, but with not much type diversity could prefer this, I guess. It's a delayed effect, which could be a hit or miss, and in 90% of modern Yu-Gi-Oh matches, redundant. I mean, you're absolutely using this for the foolish effect. But yeah, I think this card is just poorly made. I really do think it's poorly made. Alright, next up. Spiritual Power Recovery Potion. This is always treated as a possessed card. Is this that good yet? Like, every other week, there's like a new guy that just says Spellcaster, Special Summon, Add Spellcaster, Get Spellcaster. So is it good yet? Like, it's getting there, no? You can only use one of the first and second effects of this name once per turn, and only once that turn. Banish any number of spellcasted monsters and or spells from the grave. Cost. All face-on monster reported controls gain... You currently control gain 200 for each banished, and you gain 400 life. That is turbo dog shit. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your grave, special any number of spellcasters with different attributes from your hand. Okay, the second effect is decent. You get a crappy little attack boost, but you do get the pendulum from your hand. So... that's not bad, I guess. It's searchable, I assume, because it's a possessed card, so... I guess it's not terrible. I feel like this card was made just to tie in with today's Chronicles episode, so they just throw in random effects and call it... By the way, the Chronicles Spellcaster, I have heard nobody talk about that. I don't know if it's just like me being a bit offline the last 2 weeks, but everyone was talking about Albaz, everyone was talking about Sky Striker. Like... I have not heard anything. I've not seen anything. I haven't seen any memes. Like, what's going on with that? Like, it's just... I watched one episode. I'm just like... I'm so bored. And I'm not talking, like, TikTok jingling keys board. I'm just like, nothing's happening here. The first effect is trash in 2026. Yeah, but, like, you know, we're using it for the second effect here. Nonsense. With a deck cap of 60 and extra deck of 15, if you get your entire deck and extra to the graveyard, -2 for the monsters in question and the spell itself, you can banish 73 cards for a 14,600 attack boost and 30,000 life point gain. Someone please do this in table 500 and send it in. Thank you. Discard this with White Forest to special summon your hand. That's like the only play I can think of with this card. Can't wait for the non-light White Forest monster. Good point, but you can summon Diabell. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Actually, the worst Charmer card somehow. Kinda impressive. That is impressive to make the worst Charmer card. I like first effect. Buddy, that's the worst one. You could easily send this to the grave and spellcast a slop decks and get the good effect at least. It's neither all that easy nor worth it, considering you can also run cards that aren't bricks. Searching this for goes searching actual good cards, and the grave effect itself is kind of middling for those decks now. I mean, the whole point is the spellcast, they can summon themselves basically for free anyway. This is a bad card in 2008. What the actual fuck are we? Look, I'm not even saying these people are right, but they are really, really funny comments, okay? Adorable art for 2 terrible effects. Okay, the second effect isn't bad, okay? Feels more like a spellbook card than a Charmer, which is interesting since Charmer already has a spellbook of the Grand Circle, which is actually a spellbook card. Okay, Gecko-chan. The main gimmick of Charmers are swarming and indestructible by battle and by card effect. You can play 2 bricks, which is Nefariouser, and this. In Spellcaster Slop, imagine if you swarm and banish, let's say, 40 cards, you get 8,000 attack. But yeah, we'll keep imagining. You know that guy in the group chat who like posts like a combo and he's like, guys, we should try this in our deck for the next YCS, and everyone is just like reading it, and then very slowly they're just like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, this is that guy. He's like, okay, let me cook. So you know Spellcaster Slop, right? You know how that's like the next best deck potentially, right? You know how it like swarms the board, right? Okay, but let's say we banish 40 cards. Wait, what? You can't just go from there to there. Like, that's going A to Z in the most obscure way. Like, what are you talking about? No, this isn't Gren Maju. That's your new cards. Leave a comment down below what your favorite 2008 Spellcaster card is. And is it better than the Charmer support? See you in the next one.